Welcome everybody to the 23rd annual dinner of Yeshiva Yagdil Torah. A very short and enjoyable program is planned. We ask everybody to give the utmost kavod and the Ateres, the shuz, Lomi Shos Yeshiva soll gesund sein, der Yeshiva of Avraham, the Kamer Rabbanim of Yeshivas who came to be mechazek in the Shtate. Yaakov Avinu went into the Golos. He went away from his father's home. Vayitzka b'makoy v'hinei sula mutzav arza v'loishe magia shamayma. Rashi learns that the Makam HaMikdash was in the middle of the Sulam, Be'emtza HaSulam. And the Ramban is Metama Rashi. He says, Limanusha, either the Makam HaMikdash Shalamayla should be in the beginning of the ladder, where the Malachim are going up, or on top of the ladder from when they're coming down. The Vos Epis Be'emtza. Perhaps the Kavanah is, as Rashi has verstanden, that for a person to steig, for a person to go from a Sula Mutzav Arza to Roisha Magia Shemaimo, there's one way and one way only, and that's Dorach the Mikdash, Dorach the Kedushas HaMikdash, and in Golos, about the Knesias, about the Midrashes, the Yeshivas. That's the way to steig. That's the way to go up the ladder. When we come together for a yeshiva, where our children, or where we ourselves, were zeiche to sit and learn in that Mikdash Ma'at, coming from America, the United States, the Mutzav Arza, and reaching, going to Eretz HaKodesh, and steiging, until when the Bachrim who are coming back are not the Sulam Mutzav Arza, but the Roisha Megia Shemaimo. That's why we've come together to be Mechazik and be Moedei, and to recognize the Avodas HaKodesh that's put in, and that was put in for all of us. If you look at the guest of honors tonight, it's a very interesting mix. The Yeshiva's brother, the Yeshiva's Yedid Neman, and one of the Mechanchim in the Yeshiva. What is the Tzad HaShaveh of all three? I was thinking, if you look in the pasuk by the Chet HaEgel, Moshe Rabbeinu comes down and he gives a very strict order. He told Bnei Levi they should go Mishar El Shar, and they should kill Ishas Achiv, Ishas Re'eyu, and Ishas Kroivoi. Fragt the Archaim HaKadosh. Beim steht schon Ishas Achiv that a person has to kill his brother. Doch Pashat Ishas Re'eyu. Doch Pashat Ishas Kroivoi. So the Archaim HaKadosh, he says, look around, and life will tell you as Nishchazot. Sometimes you can have a brother, yes, he's your brother, it comes from the same parents. There's a friendship that's even deeper than brothers. And there's a korvashach. Because of what you do together, that's even greater. So yes, there's a ma'ila and ach, but there's something called re'eyu, and there's something called karev, that's sometimes deeper and has a bigger impact. And the male of the Torah had to say, Ishas re'eyu, Ishas achiv, Ishas kroivoi. The Teichman, Avraham's brother, is also his best friend. And Avraham's best friend, Bari, is also his brother. And Reb Shmuel is like the Rein, the Kaiches, in the Yeshiva, is the Karev to Reb Avraham, in the Avodah of growing and blossoming each and every Bachur. There's one big tzalash over here. Of Ishas Se'eyu, Ishas Krayva, and Ishas Achim. And what do they all see? What do they all see in this Mikdash Ma'at that we're trying to bring B'nai Aliyah, B'nai Torah to Roisha Magia Hashemayim? When Eliezer is bringing Rivka back to Yitzchak Avinu, and she sees Ish Kadosh, she turns to Eliezer and she says, Mi Ish Halazeh, HaHoylech L'Kaseinu, V'yoyim O'eved Hu Adayim. The question is obvious. You should have said, Hu Ben Adayim. Not Adayim. The son of Avraham. Ek Ben Eved Avraham. I think the answer is Pashut. Her question was, Wie kommt Azah Yitzchak? Wie kommt Azah Bocher? Azah Mincha? Azah Edelkeit? Such Yerushalayim? Mi o ish halozeh? And Eliezer turned and said, Hu Adayim. You would know, Avraham Avinu, best to verstanden, wie soll kommt euch Azah Yitzchak. I think each honoree here, Reb Shleimer, Reb Aaron, Reb Shmuel, and everybody sitting here tonight, who've come to be mechazik, they turn to Yagdil Torah Bocher. Wie kommt das Bocher? As Roisha Magia Hashemayim. Everybody turns and says, Hu Adayim. The Avraham, the Ma'av HaYeshiva. That's what produces such beautiful B'nai Torah. Without further ado, I would like to call upon one of the Krayvim from the Yeshiva, one of the Re'im, one of the Achim, in the way of Kodesh from Avraham, the Mashkiach Harav Shlit.
I want to ask a Chaya. I get an invitation. Please come to Yeshiva. 8:30 Monday night is this place. Please come to Yeshiva. Good to have an Ashir. Hold on. I'm first going to ask, who's saying this year? Oh, Shiva. What's the English speaking about? You call me now to a Shia and look at a Saber, and look at Thomas to Pesach, and I didn't believe him. Oh, but you're wegen Chloe Akeren. I don't know whether there was the time for that. Hey, I asked the Chaya. Who knows what's the topic going to be? What are they going to talk about? And if it interests me, after my Yeshiva Hakima, I'll come. And if I come, I'm coming for one thing. I'm coming because I want to hear the Shir. I get an invitation to come to a Power meeting. For a Choshev in English. Who's the gatherer? Who's the Achroi? What we go to the Torah filters? What's the tzedakah which they're asking for? Is it Achnos's color? Is it playing Torah? Is it for Aniyim? After inquiring all the party, and I come, I know I bring my checkbook, and it's bold, I've come for one thing. I've come because I intend on being by the parliament meeting. Das ist was ich will, and I'm going to give it stuff. I receive an invitation to come to a dinner. Come to a dinner. Yes, for a Suda, we're going to eat. Good. So sein wir Tubel mit dem Educator, sein das Mitzvah. Sein Kolonel, der Besudische Tal mit der Chachomim Besudische bei Kolonel, der Besudische Maschina. Aber so, die say that over here, I'm invited to a dinner. Right here, Chaya. Who's the caterer? Is it Teichman? Gourmet catering, 5-star. Right there. A dinner. What's on the menu? What's the first course? What's the second course? What's it called? What's the time? I'm invited to a dinner. If I'm coming to a dinner. Can't say there's other things which will bring me there. But you must have people by the dinner. I'm shaykhs with it. Say that. Alles gut und fein, but I'm invited to a dinner. Rabbi said, anybody over here, ask the Shayla, who's the caterer? What's on the menu? Stop a king. Stop a king. Trying to get loud. In Ateres, there's such weather outside. It's coming to a dinner. We don't have what to eat for our own refrigerator. So it was essen, gesprochen, geschmack, warm, gut. They go out in the cold and the weather. Andere kommen mir jetzt mit der Verkäufer. Maybe, alles für ein Dinner. Without Shaylas and Duvys. Was geht sein bei der Dinner? Was geht mit Essen dort? Was geht mit Kevin Asuda sein? It's Lichura. It's not the dinner which is bringing the authority here tonight. There's something else which is being motion has to come over here tonight. But the dinner is like Avraham. Rabbi Yechman Asangel sagt das hier. Kol Knesio, Shedim L'Shem Shomayim, is Seufel L'Hiskayim. V'She'enu L'Shem Shomayim, ein Seufel L'Hiskayim. Rabbi Yisrael ist doch mit Chaya Volozhena, schatten des Mishnah, von die Seufels von Jüdischkeit zu mögen. We all know there's a basic difference between the Yagdil Torah and the Gedolah. One thing which is boilet, and Volozhena is married and Nefesh Chaya. A goy is a goy, as a Nefesh Chaya, as a Medaber, a Ruach Memalalo, but he has no connection to a Yom Yisrael Yonim. Not a Nefesh Bahamish was left in die Welt. The goy is here. A Yid has a neshama which is chatzuva mitachas kisei hakovoi, and is mechuba to Elyonim, to Yom Yisrael Elyonim. Be'oifen, everything a Yid does, every meiser, every dibur, every machshava, has a hashpah in Yom Yisrael Elyonim, an everlasting hashpah. V'chol bonayich libudi Hashem. Every Yid is a builder. He builds. What does he build? Oilomois. With every Ma'aseh Mitzvah which we do, with every Vort in Torah which we learn, we build Oilomois for Elyonim, Oilomois for Oil, Oilomois for Torah and Kedusha, Oilomois for Ruchnias, which are everlasting. Every dibur, every word we say, which is a Ma'aseh Torah, which HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us. It builds everlasting binyonim from oiro. Every machshava, which is a machshava haguna, which he thinks when he's walking in the street. When he thinks a machshava of Yiras Shamayim, there's an Eibishter in the world. Ich darf Meure haben von ihm. He thinks about the chasodim which the Eibishter does with him every day, and he comes to a machshava of Aras Hashem, of Akoras HaTeimta HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's becoming one of the mitzvot mediators of Aras Hashem. With this machshava, he builds oilomas. What are these oilomas from oiro? These lichtige oilomas from Kedusha and Torah. how big they are, how choshev they are, that depends on each Maaseh Mitzvah. If it's done with the Mesiras Nefesh, it's done with the Kavanah Tehoira, it's done with the Yeshiva, it's noch mehr dicke Ilamis. If it's winziger, less, it's kleiner Ilamis, aber Tzad HaShova Shebohem. From every Maaseh Toiv, which HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us, we build more dicke Ilamis. And these Ilamis are everlasting. And these Oilamos are our schar, the Oilam Avo. We build our own Gan Eden, our own Oilam Avo. The Oineg Agodim we call Ta'anugim, which the Mesilas Yesharim speaks about, which that's the tachlis of the Yid, of his creation in this world, is to come to that place, to come to that Hanor, that everlasting Nitzchi is the Hanor Buchnis. We build it ourselves. And after Arichos Yomim V'Shonim, when our Neshama comes back, it departs from the Guf and it comes to Yom Yisrael Yoinim, that is what we have Hanor from. From der Warmkeit, dem Chnimus, dem Kedusha, dem Teire, the Oilamos which we built through our Talmud Torah, through our Maaseh Mitzvahs, through our Tfilas, through our Brochas. Every Omen builds an Oilom. Every Baruch Hu Shmoi builds an Oilom. Kol Knesio Shehi L'Shem Shomayim. Every Hachnosa, every investment, whatever we put in, L'Shem Shomayim, for those was the Eibishter will von uns, is so voller his Geil. It's such a when our Yetzirah is misgaber on us, when we do Maaseh Bilti Hagunim, we do what the Eibishter doesn't want. It's Lo L'Shem Shomayim. A Maaseh, a Dibur, we speak what we shouldn't speak, or we speak where we shouldn't speak. Or we look where we shouldn't look, and we get a Machshava, was we darf nicht haben. Every Maaseh Dibur Machshava, which is not what the Eibishter wants from us. God builds upstairs, Oilamos from Tumah, Oilamos from Chukshach, Oilamos from Toyu Vavoyu, Oilamos from Chorban. And that is the Gehenna which we suffer after Christian Rishonim. We create our own Gehenna. But there's one difference. These are Oilamos from Choshech, these are Oilamos from Turonus, from Churban. They're created by our Maaseh Bilti Hagunim, by our Ateres. That's what built them, that's what keeps them in their place, that's what holds them. Mimela, as soon as we've had Kapora, as soon as we've had Zikuch, Yid goes through in the 12 months, was I doubt, so Moisreiniken. Mimela, all these Oilamos cease to exist. Because the whole Yinika, the whole Koyach Hamida was built on my Avera. As soon as the Avera has a Kapora, the Oilam ceases to exist. So what stays? Only the Maaseh Tovim, which are Nitzchi. Kol Knesio Shaloi L'Shem Shomayim. What I invest, what I machnis, what I build, what I do, which is Shaloi L'Shem Shomayim, not what the Eibishter wants from me. Ain't so for this guy. It won't last forever. Because after my Zikuch, those Oilamos will cease to exist. And there will stay only the Oilamos from the L'Shem Shomayim, Dike Maaseh Meine, what I did, Rotzen Hashem, in Torah and in Maaseh Tovim. That stays forever. That's the Nisrias, that's the Warmkeit, that's my Chelik Loim Agor, that's my Gan Eden, that's what gives me my Oine, Loim Leilom. As he sagt, kein Beloschen. Aber ich sage, I want to bring this to Chaim Beloschen down to us over here in this world. We mentioned, we've got a goof. We've got a goof. And with this goof, we have Teichman goof. Sometimes we misgather on what we shouldn't do. Sometimes we're not misgather. Some things we do which are reshus, which are in excess. Taivas achila. A mensch esst. Maybe in excess of what he's meant to be eating. Nicht mit der richtige Kabone. Ist der Achille like the Achille von a Goy. Mit der Herrscher, dem Hadri. Aber der Eifel, what he eats, er wie a Goy ist. Das ist nicht, was der ewigste Wut tut. Aber it changes. When I was a teenager, I ate that kind of food. I grew older, I ate different kinds of food. An älterer Mensch enjoys something else completely different. There's those styles. Young zurück, the style was brown and beige suits. Afterwards came black suits. There was a time when shoes had buckles, the time shoes have laces. Verschiedene Sachen, it's all Oila Mazeh, dicke Tigers, or Ezeket and Hovers. Rabbi Isai, do we remember these things from 50 years ago? And I miss Gageya from my double-breasted suit with the big lapels, my big white tie from 40 years ago, which I enjoyed so much. And my ganze Hanor was coming Pesach by night to shul in my new suit and my new big tie. And at such an over. Do I remember those moments? They mean anything to me? Garnished. The suit which I enjoyed so much 40 years ago, I don't feel any relationship to it without today. No. That's Knesios, Shaloi L'Shem Shamayim. Things which I do in my life, this world is there. Nicht in Yonim from mitzvahs and Meisim Tovim. And they're not safe in this time. I don't feel a connection to them. I don't remember them with a warm emotion of, can I say good, can I say Gishmak? We were both, we sat together by a table on a Thursday night, Avraham and Shlit after a mishmor, with Gishmak and Zoynas and popcorn and a drink and a hin and a her. Miss Kagea for it, it's going to say Gishmak, yes, and the dost, the know, garnished. He said, Mashain King, Knessia Shehila Shem Shamayim. What we do together over here, what we invest in Torah, in mitzvahs, and in Meisim Tovim, it's Sefer Hiskayim over here with us now in this world. We feel a connection to it forever. We feel the warmth. We feel the hanor. It brings us together. It schleps us weiter because it's Sefer Hiskayim. Because my neshama, it was a Knessia L'Shem Shamayim, it was something which I did not for my booth, but for my neshama. And my neshama is nitzchi. My hanor from my neshama is nitzchi. So even after a time, which has gone over an extended period even, where I've been nifsek from it, but when I'm reminded of it, I feel a gadua, I feel a connection. Rabbi say, it's not the dinner of Yagdil Torah which brought us all together here tonight. It's the Torah we learned in Yagdil Torah. It's the Davening was been gedamet in Yagdil Torah. It's the Shiurim of Yagdil Torah. It's the closeness to the Rosh Yeshiva, to the Anhola, to the Chaverim which we had together. The whole Knessia was a Knessia of L'Shem Shamayim. Some invested a lot. Grace has mother with good kishrim, put lots of work into it. And Baruch Hashem Arois, Talmidei Chachamim, Uflogim, Marbitze Torah Barabim, London. Others invested less. Others invested less. Nicht gestiegen as they feel. But everybody had their moments. Their tkufas of Hanor. Always remember the Masechta which we learned. Remember the Tefillas. Remember the Asifas from the Chizuk, the Rosh Yeshivas Chumash, the Hashkot. Those things that one never forgets. That feeling gives us this feeling of closeness. That's what we invested, what we put our own effort into Shem Shomayim Dike in Yoni HaNefesh. That's Sefer Yisrael. We should get an invitation. Yagdil Torah is doing something. Nicht gechillig soll sein neben Dinner. Das klingt so, wenn wir alle zusammen, nun geht das so das Mitzvah. Aber the Yesod is, what brings us over here, from out of town, from the distance, is this chmimus, which our neshama feels, which is a Sefer Yisrael Dike chmimus. That's what brings us together here tonight. The Hano, the Gagui, the memories, the fondness, the feeling, the Warmkeit, the Teile, the Kedusha, the Heiligkeit, from the heilige moments which every bocher and every young man is ready to feel at different times in his life. Because it's called legacies, Shlit, Shem Shomayim, was a Sefer Yisrael. Yakadosh Baruch Hu bench each and every one of us. We should have Baruch and Hatzlacha and our derech and Chaya to continue to build, to develop that which we invested, which are continuing to invest in Ma'asim Tovim, in Torah, in Tefillah, in Yerushalayim, in Midas HaTovim, in Benodam Nachaverim, in Benodam Nachaverim. This should all be oimid for us. The Schus, the Warmkeit, nicht nur in jene Welt, sondern in die Welt. We should be zeicher to Bracha and Hatzlacha. Yevadi Yakadosh Baruch Hu, Kol Mishabeis Libeinu L'Toivo. Amen.
Please give your attention as we're going to begin the honorees' presentation by video. Mr. Shemted Award presents Rabbi Mrs. Aaron Sussman. She's Gedolah at the Yerushalayim, 23rd anniversary dinner. Ateres at the base, We would like to be reciting the program. Understandably, such a maimed is not possible without months and months of tireless work and effort by many, many Yeshivas. On behalf of the Yeshiva and the Rosh Yeshiva, I'd like to thank and mention a few people who have been so instrumental in making sure that this dinner was a success that Baruch Hashem was. There's Daniel Pollack, the administrative director for the last few years, has given Lev Nefesh to the Yeshiva. As a new addition, with the Gewaldige Ruach, the Baruch Berman has brought the dinner to a high level, a whole new darga. And we certainly hope that Emet Hashem in the coming years will only grow Yagdil Torah. As executive assistant, Mrs. Press, taking care of all the office work, coordinating, and anything that the Yeshiva might need. And as Yeshiva told me earlier, a young man who's again not only an ach to the Rosh Yeshiva, but a Harav and the best friend possible, Rabbi King, who there is nothing in this Yeshiva that Rabbi does not have a yavin. At the same time, the Yeshiva would like to recognize a group of alumni who have come forth and formed the board of directors, the Moshe Blum, the Monty Hellman, the Duvys and the Gavin Rosenblum, who have taken upon themselves the Avraham of leading the pack. And we certainly hope that all the alumni and all the Bnei Yeshiva will always come back and join and be mechazik and be moed in the Yeshiva. At this point, before we introduce the Rosh Yeshiva, there's still one short video presentation. We ask Elder for just another few moments to turn towards the video. Steht der Pasuk, and the Pasuk over there is Messiah, so I saw half of the Gemara that the chesaron of having the Bechorim do the Avodah was that the Maisa, not every Bechar's father was a Bechar. There was a lack of Messiah. Every family, if there was a Bechar, was lav dafka, his son was going to be a Bechar. And the Mela said, Gefelt Messiah. But when the Rebbeinu Shalom made a unique and exclusive L'shareis ba'kodesh, one shevet, so then it was guaranteed that the Geshes ala kodesh la'yir neged. I think there's no better introduction to unser Rosh Yeshiva, Avraham Halevi. The epitome of every shmuz, of every shir, is based on one thing: V'zayne Evelot Gezot. And alles kommt the Messiah from V'zayne Evelot Gezot. The ganze Nekuda from Shevet Levi, as we're guaranteed that it's pure, that it's Ateres HaKodesh, the Geshes Al HaKodesh, is because of the Messiah that the Yeshiva gives over, that he got from his Rebbe. And that Sulam Mutzavaz that we spoke about, that's Roisha Megia Hashemayma, that all comes from the Nekuda, that we don't budge, we don't leave from our Messiah. I thank before many people who have added so much to this dinner. And I think tonight, Bevossi Alayla Haskir, the Rebbetzins of Gesundsein, who was able to come from Eretz Yisrael, Yoda Bakol, every boker is made, the koiches that the Rebbetzin has put in, those memories that the Mashkiach spoke about earlier, the Seifel is Kayim, Ada Yoim Hazeh. Yena Bayis and Avraham to the Yeshiva and the Rebbetzin. As Yomlayim and Melech Taisir, Gesundheit, they should be able to be Madlich and Maimed, Tamidim La'alav from the Shemus Teferet, to cover to call upon Mareinu V'Rabbeinu and the Yeshiva Shlit.
Yeshiva, Konim, Avraham, Chachamim, Kol HaKodesh Hazeh.
For lecture? Job without light. You didn't tell us. Okay, you don't know. Where's the sound? How are you going to get sound?
Last 30 odd years or so that I've been living in Eretz Yisrael. We live in Nisim Gluyim. Often it's been down, there have been wars, there are missiles, and it's been more or less constant through the years. And Rabbi Shalom protects Klal Yisrael in the end. Now recently, there's been a very unprecedented change in a new matzah that's happened that's not like anything at all that's happened before. That's the Ruach that has unfortunately been created in Eretz Yisrael, an insidious ruach of hashpala, of Talmidei Chachamim, of Loimdei Torah, and a kloliistic sinner to the Olam HaTorah. It was never like that. All the years it was never like that. At a certain level, it's liach ma'aseh satan. An insidious phrase that's a catch term that became very popular in Eretz Yisrael over the last half a year. In Hebrew, they call it shivyon benetel. In English, it's called quality of burden. A poisonous term that has been used to twist people's minds, the hamoinam, into not only not appreciating, but Rahman al-Islam having a disdain for the Olam HaTorah. As much as one might explain very easily why it's haka, it's ridiculous, it's a sheker, a chazak. And with Deo we all understand, and if you would intellectually speak to somebody, they would all also understand that about the whole kiyum of Klal Yisrael, no one believes that Eretz Yisrael has a schus kiyum without the Loimdei Torah, without the Bnei Torah. People of the Alafrai understand that also really deep down. The only schus kiyum we have is not because they're pluralistic and a democratic nation, in which case, if they'd open up the borders, there's no question that there's no worse mistreatment of human beings in the world than the Arabs mistreating the Arabs. If they were to open up the borders, there would be 5 million Arabs that would come into Eretz Yisrael the next day, all democratic, wonderful, pluralistic, there would be nowhere to Eretz Yisrael. The kiyum of Eretz Yisrael, deep down everybody understands the Loimdei Torah, the Mamshichei HaMesayra. But even calls that it's liach ma'aseh satan. The terrible ruach in Eretz Yisrael created, it's nothing like it's been for all the years. How do we deal with it? I'm not coming to say Deus Chas v'Shalom to anyone. It's above and beyond myself. Just for a brief moment or two, I want to say over what I understand for the last few weeks about it. We only have to see current events and know the attitude to take current events only through the eyes of Gedolah Yisrael. And recently, particularly, I've heard from Bnei Beisa, Ayos HaShachas, am Zinseinenstag, from Rabban Leib, What has been his attitude? What has been his approach to how we have to see this matzah and what we're supposed to do? Different gzeiros throughout the history of Klal Yisrael have elicited different responses from the Gedolah Torah. We don't always understand exactly why and what. There have been points in time where the Gedolah Yisrael have called for certain types of hishtadlusim that were public, and they were taking a stand about it together with tefillah and zakal shamayim. But there was a hishtadlusim that was done taka b'aretz. 1943, Israel felt that it was Kedai. There should be a mishloach of Rabbanim. They went to Washington, D.C., 200 Rabbanim. Askamas Gedolah Torah, silver. A Rosham then. But it was Askam of Gedolah Torah. That was the hishtadlus that needed to be done. Just briefly, he said like this: there are 3 nekudas that he sees that have happened now, and that is that there's been a hashpala, a demeaning of limud HaTorah, of loimdei HaTorah, and a klal yistik chilul shem shamayim. What's needed to do, he says, he's saying this over constantly, is our approach here is nothing to do with the Israeli government or the American government or anything here b'aretz. That's not what our role is. He's been saying to say there that if there's such a gzeira, then there's no question that there must be a chizuk made in ha'aracha for the Torah, ha'aracha for the B'nai Torah, ha'aracha and its battles to Gedolah Torah, and a hargash of sensitivity, b'ayim klali, to kvayt shemayim and chas v'shalom chilul shem shemayim. If we would be oiskahal in these areas, then things wouldn't have happened. And the Knesset has nothing to do with trying to send a message, not to the Knesset, not to the Israeli government, not to the American government. There was a chizuk from B'nai Torah alei to be mechazik in kvayt shemayim. If you want to be Messiah, it's Tvei Maisa. Tvei Maisa. Ein Maisa is brought down, Maisa Negeya, to his battles to Gedolah Torah. Frat Gedolah Torah from the 3 of the Gedolahs. The Maisa is with the Chafetz Chaim. The Maisa is brought down in the Kisvei Chafetz Chaim. His son writes the following: Zachruni b'mei Yaldusi. I remember when I was a young boy, this is the Chafetz Chaim's son. There was some kind of gathering together, and they made a l'chaim. Ulai hoya bar mitzvah shali. I don't remember exactly, but maybe it was my bar mitzvah. V'divru divrei Torah. It said divrei Torah, and I was asked to speak also. Korakti was kushya achas shal bal shagasari. And I answered the shagasari's akasha. V'huta b'nei aloimdim ha-mesuvavim. I had enough from my parents. Ukeshecholku limashke v'rmu l'chaim. Ubarchu oisi batzlacha b'limudi. Gave me a bracha that I should be matzliach my limudi. I said from my mipi, I said the following bitul. It was a child, a 13-year-old child. Halavai she'ezke v'ucha lifrei kol divrei shagasari. And follow shagasari's kashas. Kisheshama avi davar zeh. When the Chafetz Chaim, the Tzaddik Livracha, heard these words of a 13-year-old young boy, possibly by his bar mitzvah, V'chvani b'shtei yodai, v'omar b'pumbiyah, v'shem kein mol nit zayin agodol f'adayna verte. Chafetz Chaim is spraching. He said, it was from what you said, it was missing in the proper kvayda Torah and haracha for the free of the Gedolah Torah. You could speak about that, like the shagasayim, the life guide. Kimat aklala, you like to speak Kohen Gadol. For that, you're never going to be a Gadol. Become Bizan, you got up. Ula Davoin, this kind of Torah, this kind of Torah, he says it himself, I thought he never became a Gadol with Torah. Amnum Baruch Hashem lo deplesi b'midah ra azu b'galusi. But it made a rosham on me for my whole life, that I had a different way that I could speak about the free of the Gedolos forever. Yaldus hoyavi, umaravi lo yeskirani b'zeh kol yemei Chaya, v'advarim nirshabu b'libi. But I never forgot this zog. This is ein Maisa from the Ateres, the Ansach of its Chaim, the emes, this Varmkeit, this kinds of fear in the shtub. It was not an unrestrained fear in the shtub. But it was kedai for the Chafetz Chaim to make this limud for his son, Lo'elamim. That's how choshev that in was. Zweite Meister, on the Messiah, and Meister, I heard from Schwab. Schwab was a Rav in Germany in the early 1930s. He gave a drasha on Shabbos. The matzah was already not good for the Yidden then. And he gave a drasha on Shabbos. And he gave a drasha of chizuk for the tzibur and tefillah, and Yonim of tefillah. And he said to them, the milos of Klal Yisrael is that we can speak straight to the Rebbeinu Shalom and we don't need any intermediary at all. He says, Medach Klal Yisrael, Dach Nishaven came into it. We don't need an intermediary between us and the Rebbeinu Shalom. It seems to be there was an informer from the Gestapo sitting there, and they thought that he said, Medach Nishaven came into it. And they informed him, and right away, after that, he finished the shmooze, he was called to the Gestapo offices. And they shried at him, where do you have the audacity to say Azazach, and he explained to them, no, you don't understand, I never would have said that. I never meant that. I was saying, I'm a middler. I never would say it, and I couldn't have said it. They said, go back home, we're going to call you. And everybody understood his life was hanging in the balance, as there was no value. It was Harav, Yosef Alamisa Minachayim. Lamaisa, what happens at the end of the 2 weeks, he gets a call, the next. Yep, we found out that it's true, you're free. During those 2 weeks, when he was being Chaim Lamavis, so the family all says Bispilus. Shwab is ruhig hate, showed no difference in his avodah, his tefillah. He davened, he learned with a certain menuchas hanefesh that they couldn't get over there with his fall from. But they had one shinui in Hanhaga that he did. They found one shinui in his Hanhaga that he did every night. And that is every night he went to sleep in his clothing. Didn't put on his big day light. So they asked him, my hand, everything else you did regular, why is it that you haven't got it? You went to sleep in your clothing. And he said, I don't understand. He said, it's partial that at any time during these 2 weeks, I was all in the middle of the night to be dragged to the street and hung from a lamp. A Rav in Klal Yisrael should go in his pajamas. Machachil Hashem. I'm going to go in my clothes. Azar Cook can only come from a Yid who's always thinking, and his whole mabat in this world is thinking not about Zecher, he's thinking always about Kvei Shemayim. If that's how you look at the world, and always sensitive, and always thinking how I can be married to Kvei Shemayim, when it comes to Zani Soya, and when Oim is Zayin and Soya in that life. I want to thank everybody for coming. Sean, that we should all be able to be Sameach Tzamen, Harav, Yerushalayim, Abnuya, Duvys, Mashiach Tzidkeinu, B'Herav Yameinu, Amen.
See you.